The most important step to an illustration is the initial stages. The whole idea of an illustration is capturing what's best known about the character. When I chose to paint this, I wanted to capture Frieren's story. I've been putting off painting Frieren because the thought of wanting to give a meaningful story to an illustration feels really hard to me. I spent super long on the thumbnail sketches. I know it looks super simple, but I was really overthinking about the meaning behind each sketch. Do I make her look like she's looking back? Is she simply just traveling? I ask myself. Does it add to the story? Each element plays a big part, not just adding things for the sake of adding. Finally, I picked the one where she's laying down, because I feel it has the most potential given the hair can play a big part in guiding the composition. I didn't want the piece to feel lonely, so I was imagining Frieren laying on a set of stone stairs to give the impression where she's in town. But it was just too awkward, and it looked uncomfortable laying on the stairs. I changed it to a grassy field and added fern to solve the lonely problem. I put a lot of care into each aspect of the piece. I tried making the pose look as natural as possible and also have a sense of flow in the overall composition. I was looking for clothing, poses, and references to get everything as accurate as possible. We did the face so many times, and one of the trickiest part was the hair. Since it was gonna play a big part into this illustration, all I had in mind was how the hair was interacting with gravity and the grass. Now that I have a sketch down for the next important part, wrapping my layers into sections of flats. For an easier time selecting parts of the character, I had to make sure without the lines, the silhouette looks clean, the edges looks clean. Once you have the flats, I tend to pick the colors that are considered mid-tones because it gives me the leeway for editing the brightness and contrast. At this point, I have a general idea of what the lighting would look like. Frieren laying on a grassy plain, the trees are blocking part of the light, so you can see little splotches of sun on Frieren. Doing that gives it a more interesting point to look at. Over here, I made a duplicate of the flat and changed it into a cooler tone. Hitting in the ambient occlusion to create the effect of the skylight affecting the subject. I started blocking out where light hits. It's good to have a guide to where the light is pointing, so when painting light, it will be much more accurate. And I still wasn't happy with the face, so I repainted it a couple of times. I think in most of my illustration, I did really like playing with bounce light, because it always adds a cozy, comfortable light. I was a little stuck on the face, so I focused on other areas. The painting is coming out of the early stage now, as I went around the painting, cleaning up the soft and hard edges, and also making sure there's clear separation between the light and shadow. But still felt a little over-rendered, so I decided to simplify the light a little. I went back to her face to touch up. I was experimenting a little on the simplification to her face, and I think it turned out alright. Now I was painting in a bit of reflective light from the sky. The most part of it here is just polishing and details. The corners of the painting fell open, so I tried framing it with leaves, then started to experiment with the overall lighting. Since I had it in different layers, it was easier to change the warmness and brightness. Came back to the face to give it some care, and it was looking a little flat, so I added some depth onto her face. Right now, you can see me going back to the layers to adjust the brightness, and also tried adding more warmth to the skin, touching up the face more to bring back contrast. I had to make sure the shadow is cast by her arm so that it doesn't look like it's on the ground. I always leave the hair for last because it's just painting over. I wanted to have some transparency on some of the strands. I tried to paint the hair with big, medium, small in mind and reflectiveness caused by the surrounding. I'm almost done with the piece, just a bunch of polishing. I had a lot of fun painting this piece. The color especially I wanted to improve on by trying to harmonize the flats with the ambient lighting. I think I went a little safe on the colors because I was visualizing a lot of pastel. And yeah, this is the finished painting. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I really appreciate it if you subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I basically just added my light layers into a group and then create a mask for those layers and just like sort of paint over or erase certain parts like this, and then I can just so yeah, that's it.